Anyone else want to see a debate between this lady and pre-character development Ruru? I mean, yeah, it would probably be the equivalent of Siri versus Alexa, but still, I'm kind of curious. Following up immediately from last week, our new 6 Ranger somewhat introduced herself. Yeah, and a fairly interesting twist, she couldn't fully introduce herself as she wasn't actually the Precure of legend, and in fact had just been born today. Like, seriously, go look up her bio on the toy website, and you'll see that her birthday is in fact listed as the date when this video will premiere, and the air date for this episode since Japan is 1 day ahead of us in the States. That's some serious attention to detail that even accounted for the pandemic delays. Still, I guess I shouldn't be too surprised that this character managed to break a few fourth walls. Yeah, okay, so last time I made several references to this character's VA, but I do think I should state this. I am a bit of a fan of Suzuko Mimori. I first heard her as Cheryl from Milky Holmes, where she was the most lovable little idiot protagonist ever. And yes, I know I rag on idiot pinks a lot in Precure, but Milky Holmes was clearly meant to be a show parodying and lampooning the many tropes of the magical girl genre. Thus, her being the most incompetent descendant of the great Sherlock Holmes made that series an underrated classic in my opinion. And as a result of their great and hilarious performances, she and the rest of the Milky Holmes team became 2/3 of the main 6 for the Japanese dub of the first 2 seasons of Friendship is Magic, with Mimori, of course, playing Pinkie Pie because really these two are pretty much just the same character. So that makes her the second actress who's played major roles in 3 specific franchises I'm a big fan of, the first being Miyuki Sawashiro. The point is, I think she's a fun actress, especially when she's allowed to play the Genki girl. When she plays more serious roles like our new Cure, she's not bad either. As I said, she does remind me a lot of Corrine from Cardfight Vanguard, though personally I'm still waiting for her longtime running buddy Izumi Kita to join this franchise, as I think she has some of the most impressive vocal range in the entire business. But I digress. Cure Earth, as we'll call it for now, was a spirit of the earth created based on the image of Teatinu's late partner. Well, at least they didn't give us some weirdo in a red Speedo. On the side, we also got some interesting little lore that the healing garden was also a direct creation of the earth, with Teatinu being the very first healing animal ever. With all that said, the newly born Cure Earth decided to accomplish her mission and take Latte back to the garden. I think this girl might have set a new record for the quickest onset of the Curse of Makopi. Luckily for her, being a spirit of the earth came with sturdy legs, I guess, and she managed to walk off to try and find another way back to the garden, while our heroines followed close behind to try and stop this dumb blonde. Meanwhile, in the Byogen Kingdom, Batitamota, likely much to the envy of Shindoine, managed to talk with the king. He reported the appearance of Earth and promised that he'd take care of her in exchange for a little something. We'd learn what that is later, but first he had an encounter with his mentor, Gwaiwaru. Apparently, after the events of the last episode, the overdeveloped Mega Byogen had left behind some remains, not unlike how Batitamota himself was created from a monster that had been left to develop for about a few hours. Again, I do appreciate when this show maintains some of its continuity like this. Wanting to use those remains for himself, Gwaiwaru tried to forcefully take it from his former lackey at this point. You know the doujinshi artists are gonna have a field day with this. However, Batitamota managed to save one shard for himself. On a side note, fantastic application of shallows in this scene. Back with our protagonist, the healing animals adamantly refused to let Earth take Latte away, even refusing to believe Teatinu would order such. Of course, then our pink lead joined in to try and rescue her precious plushie. It's what I would have said if our heroine wasn't named Nodoka. Not going to name any names, but man, do I wish certain pinks would have this much sense. However, thanks to the power of convenient timing, Latte was prevented from answering that question as Bachitomota attacked a solar panel-powered factory. Still, being one of the most sensible cures ever, Nodoka left Earth with a stethoscope so that she could hear the rest of what Latte had to say. With that, the team encountered their most environmentally friendly monster so far, and engaged it with some really impressive tag moves that would put the young bucks to shame. However, just before they were about to pull off a quick win, Bachitomota used his shard to power up his monster into a fearsome form. Oh my gosh, it made his voice a lot deeper. Oh, and it got bigger, I guess. Honestly, it's a little hard to tell since we didn't get a really good sense of scale earlier. Regardless, Bachitomota was so excited that his experiment was a success that his right sleeve disappeared. Moreover, he was pulling a Starscream to throw all of his cohorts under the bus and gain favor with King Byogen. Uh-oh. Don't play the Akaba Ranger clip! This is not going to end well. Meanwhile, Earth and Latte arrived on the scene by the latter's request. She also stated that she didn't want to go back to the garden and wanted to stay to fight alongside her friends. Furthermore, and I'll just say I really like this line, she pointed out that while Earth may look like the original, she wasn't anything like her if she could only save one sick dog. Earth still wasn't completely sure what she wanted to do, but was moved by Latte's words enough that she decided to join the fight. Back with our original trio, they were actually making a comeback and probably would have won the fight had a certain rodent not pulled a cheap shot. Thus, our new 6 Ranger performed her first transformation to some amazing music. God, I can't wait for the next OST. And as usual, some great animation. With that, Earth was ready to go and whoa, I am just noticing this. Earth, considering that you were just born, are you sure you want to be showing off that much leg as well as, you know what? Never mind, I won't say anymore. Thankfully, they tried not to make her look too powerful like she did in the last episode, and had the original trio deal with the monster while she took on Bachitomota, or they just had her one-shot both of them. And yes, I said both of them.
This is bad comedy.
Good night, sweet prince. Figures that the thing that looks like the Doki Doki team's file upgrade would be OP as all hell. With that, the episode ended with Pure Earth formally joining the team, though of course they couldn't just keep calling her that, so they gave her the closest sounding Japanese name to Earth, Asumi. We also got the second ending theme for the show, which, yeah, it's probably not fair to compare it with the greatness that was the first ED. I mean, this was by no means bad, as it did have a nice jazzy tune and probably better dancing overall, but I'm sorry, Kaneko Miyamoto isn't going to dethrone Machiko's magnum opus just yet. Okay, so a little bit to unpack here. On its own, this is still quite a good episode. We got some great follow-up to Latte's development from last time. Nodoka had some great moments where she really got to flex her leadership muscles, and results aside, this was still a really good fight we got this week. That said, the ramifications of said fight, as well as Asumi's addition to this team, do have me concerned. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. One of the biggest things that can derail both a Sentai and a Precure team is an overpowered 6 Ranger. Sure, they might have a reason for it, like Asumi being non-human here, but if not dealt with properly, it could still kill off much of the show's drama. Now, of course, there are ways of circumventing this, most notably giving them limiters such as strict timers. And they do potentially have one here with Latte, as we could see that her sickness indicator was still glowing even after Asumi transformed. Hopefully they will have the foresight to work this in, because she already may have shaken up the status quo a little too much. While I personally doubt this is the last we've seen of Bachitomota, and honestly I kind of think we should go back to the original villain trio, the fact that he was jobbed out so easily does paint Asumi as a little too superior over her teammates, who were doing well but were caught off guard unfortunately. Now all that said, the rest of the episode was honestly pretty good. Asumi's fish out of water stuff legit had me laughing, and I really like some of the animation in and out of the fight this week. Most of all, Latte and Nodoka both exhibited fantastic leadership. The former knew exactly what to say to get her new partner to cooperate, and the latter didn't try to force Asumi to give up said plushie, even though she has been entirely beneficial to her team. This show does its character moments quite well, so hopefully it can iron out some of its other story elements too. As usual, do check out my other weekly reviews of another long-running magical girl anime, Ojama Shotoremi, and also do look forward to the continuation of my review of the second volume of the Mahotsukai Precure manga. Part 2 should be out either this week or the next, though I know a lot of you are looking forward to that last chapter, but be patient, damn it. Still look forward to it. And until then though, farewell for now my friends, and yeah, I have to deal with this. Get back behind that fourth wall already, damn it!